This week's weekly ritual is dedicated to the memory of George Floyd. What's up, everybody? I'm Keefe, and welcome back to the Weekly Ritual, Ghost Cult Magazine's weekly news show on YouTube. And now, the news rundown. Starting off the news this week, Tuesday, June 2nd, the entire music industry and many bands, not just the heavy music world, but everybody, observed Blackout Tuesday, where we honored the memory of George Floyd, slain by Minneapolis policemen last week, and tried to open up a dialogue in the country about racism and police brutality. The industry came together and observed a day of silence, both with their content and their social media, in a way to raise awareness. This is just the beginning, first step. Obviously, we're not going to defeat racism overnight or with symbolic gestures. We're going to do them with meaningful dialogue and conversations, and also listening. So we're going to share some resources down below in the links where you can get some help and some understanding if you need it. Bandcamp has announced that June 19th and every June 19th going forward in the future, they will donate 100% of their share of revenue and fees to the NAACP and other charities like Black Lives Matter. This is a great gesture. Bandcamp has been doing a fantastic job this year, as it is coming to the aid of musicians during the COVID crisis. And actually, Friday, June 5th, there'll be another Bandcamp day for bands where Bandcamp waives their share and bands get the 100% proceeds from all of their sales. Thank you, Bandcamp. Gimme Radio in the news. You know that we're huge fans of Gimme Radio. They have answered the call, and they have started what they're calling Campaign Zero, a campaign to end police brutality. Gimme Radio is awesome. They have been doing a lot to help bands and other organizations. They've done a lot of charity stuff over time. Super cool. If you're not familiar with Gimme Radio, they're an online music streaming app that plays only heavy music in all forms. And they have awesome exclusives on merch, and they have a lot of guest DJs, and they've been doing a lot to help bands this entire year. And they even have a metal chart now, their own chart similar to Billboard, except for extreme metal. It's pretty damn cool. We've been covering that here. In sad news, we've had some deaths this week in the music world. One of the original Misfits drummers, Joey Image, passed away after a bout with liver cancer. He was only 67. Joey played on such seminal records as Horror Business and the Night of the Living Dead single. These records included Where Eagles Dare and We Bite, as well as those other two songs. And Joey infamously joined the Misfits on their ill-fated trip to London to open for The Damned in 1979, which had a huge hand in making the band internationally known. So Joey, intrinsically tied to Misfits lore. We're very sorry to hear of his passing. Rest in peace, Joey. Also passed this week, Josh Booth of Australian deathcore band To The Grave passed away. He was only 23. Few details are known about Josh's passing other than his band posted the news to their social media. It was apparently very devastating for that community, and there has been a GoFundMe launched to help with his funeral costs as well as to support Josh's family. We're deeply sorry to hear about such a young talent losing his life at such a young age. We send our sympathies out to Josh's family, friends, and fans. We're sad to learn that Sally Cato, lead singer of 90s alternative rock band Smash Gladys, died on May 30th. The news was not revealed until just recently when news of her passing spread to social media. Smash Gladys, very underrated band from the 90s. Deeply sorry to hear of Sally's passing. Rest in peace. Features this week at Ghost Cult include our exclusive interview with Within Temptation singer Sharon Denadell. She talked all about their new single, Entertain You, how she's holding up during the quarantine, and, of course, potential new Within Temptation music coming soon. And also we interviewed Yvette Young of Covet. Covet's brand new album, their second full-length, Technicolor, comes out June the 5th on Triple Crown Records. Yvette is wonderful and humble and extremely talented, and we had a great time chatting with her. That's also up on our YouTube. You can head to YouTube and check out our interview with Veritas Suicide of the Suicide Puppets. Suicide Puppets is an industrial metal band we've taken a shine to, covered some of their shows, including their awesome opening slot for 69 Eyes and Wednesday 13 recently in Pennsylvania. The band is doing a live stream concert this Saturday, June the 6th, and they will be benefiting Operation Build Up, which is a charity that supports veterans. We're all about this. Thank you, Suicide Puppets. Other interviews include Old Blood. We talked to the band about their upcoming new single and their full-length album, Acid Doom, coming this summer on Metal Assault Records. They have a new single and video coming this Friday, June the 5th, Vein Scraper. I've gotten to hear this record. I am one of the few people who got a sneak preview of the album. It is definitely going to be one of the stoner doom albums of the year. We also interviewed Will Putney for our podcast. Will is an incredible producer. You know him from such albums as Gojira and his own band Fit for an Autopsy and many, many more. And Will's side band End is coming out with their first full-length album this Friday on Closed Casket Activities. The band is sort of a grindcore, hardcore supergroup with many awesome members. Definitely check out the podcast. Also on the podcast this week, Adam Dubin, from the director of the film Murder in the Front Row. We met Adam several times during the press tour for the Murder in the Front Row film, which is now out on deluxe DVD and streaming video on demand. Adam's super cool. He's a wonderful music historian. He infamously directed the Beastie Boys' Fight for Your Right to Party video, as well as many others. And now to all the continuing saga of tour postponements, reschedules, and cancellations. Wah, wah. Motley Crue has finally announced the cancellation and postponement till 2021 of the Stadium Tour. As you know, the highly anticipated and somewhat sold out tour includes Motley Crue, Def Leppard co-headlining, along with Poison, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, and more. That tour, we started to hear last week that some of those shows were being rescheduled, ticket holders were getting refunds, and now they announced they had to completely reschedule to next summer. They will hold the tour. I still expect it to be interesting and probably worth seeing. Def Leppard is always great live. Motley always puts on a great show, but we'll see how they do with the layoff and the retirement they've had for a while, including a whole nother year. Hopefully that will make them a year better. Poison, Bret Michaels tours all the time, should be pretty cool, and Joan Jett, always fantastic, so hopefully that tour will still hold up. More sad news as Korn and Faith No More's highly anticipated co-headline tour, along with Helmet, Spotlights, and 68 has completely been canceled and will not be rescheduled. This is a major bummer. You know that they did reschedule their 2 concerts in LA for next summer that includes System of a Down. This is a big bummer and we're really sad this tour is not happening. Korn and Faith No More are a natural matchup, and of course we love bands like Helmet, Spotlights, 68. Occasionally some of the shows we're going to feature Darren from System of a Down's Scars on Broadway band. So it's a big disappointment. One of our favorite festivals, RPM Fest from Western Massachusetts, has canceled their 2020 event and rescheduled for 2021. There was no feasible way for them to hold their annual festival that takes place at the end of every summer. Super bummed that they had to cancel. They're also entertaining possibly starting a tradition of having a spring RPM Fest in the same location, so they would have 2 festivals every year. Seems pretty cool. The area can definitely support it with the bands. I'd like to see this happen. Good luck, you guys. Rock USA has been forced to cancel their 2020 fest. It was supposed to be the 10th anniversary festival and feature headline appearances from Limp Bizkit, Rob Zombie, Hailstorm, and many more. Interestingly, Wisconsin was one of the first states to reopen following the quarantine, and now they've had to cancel this festival. They have vowed to bring the festival back next year. And then finally, in the cancellations front, Helloween has officially postponed their 2020 European tour dates. Helloween is still on their Pumpkins United tour. Obviously, we'd love to see Helloween. They're working on some new stuff. We'd love to see them continue to tour the world with this gigantic augmented lineup of many members of different versions of Helloween. We're all down for more Helloween shows, so hopefully they'll reschedule to 2021. No official confirmation yet. In some good news for a change, SpaceX finally got to launch their first manned space shuttle launch of any kind in 10 years, and apparently the crew are big metalheads. They use their Walk Up the Ramp music to AC/DC's Back in Black, and they used Black Sabbath's Planet Caravan as their wake-up music, which is pretty amazing. You may remember the Pantera cover of Planet Caravan from 1994 as Far Beyond Driven. Just in case you've been missing it, Metallica has been crushing it with Metallica Mondays, #Metallica Mondays. They've been showing old school streaming videos of their past concerts. You know, the Metallica's main social media network that they put the most energy into is YouTube, at Metallica TV on YouTube. This week they ran their 1997 Poor Touring Me tour stop from Salt Lake City from the Load Tour. They've featured recently concerts from the Black Album, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, Death Magnetic, and Justice for all kinds of things. Really cool shows, deep cuts, quality. Sometimes it's off of VHS, sometimes it's a Metallica Pro Shot crew from their entire world tour setup. It's been pretty badass, and they've been using it to raise money for their charitable foundation, All Within My Hands. They've been raising money for direct relief and frontline healthcare workers, and I do believe they have raised hundreds of thousands of dollars so far. Cool and good on you, Metallica. Roger Waters has announced, along with Sony Pictures Entertainment, his Us and Them concert movie will arrive as a DVD later this month. The film was shown as a Fathom Events showing last fall at theaters nationwide for one night only, filmed over the last few years on his massive Us and Them tour. Roger's going to play all of his 70s Pink Floyd stuff, as well as things from his solo records, including his last one. Very stoked for this Roger Waters DVD Blu-ray concert film. It's going to have like an extra mini movie as a part of it. Very, very cool. Cannibal Corpse is in the studio right now working on a brand new album expected for release in 2021 on their longtime label, Metal Blade Records. A Cannibal Corpse record is always an event, as they are the preeminent death metal band in the world, in my personal opinion, and probably many others. They are already the biggest selling death metal band of all time, as you know probably, and any new Cannibal Corpse music will be a cause for celebration among the fans. Devin Townsend's deluxe version of Empath arrives this Friday, and Devin has also just released an entire hour of new music. Very cool stuff from Devi. He is just killing it with all the hard work. Enslaved, incredible band from Finland, has shared their brand new fan-filmed video for Rum, Women, and Victory. Enslaved's new record comes out this summer from Metal Blade Records, and their awesome fan-submitted video is amazing. It's hilarious. It's incredible. People singing along, headbanging, being in the spirit of metal. This is just what we needed right now in these tough times. Sepultura has been hosting their quarantine video series, Sepulquarta, and their recent guest was none other than Mike Portnoy, interviewed by Sepultura drummer Eloy Casagrande. Eloy is a huge Portnoy fan. We all are. Pretty cool chat by the two of them. You can see that in the link below. Times of Grace, the side project from Killswitch Engage guitarist Adam D and singer Jesse Leach, put a brand new teaser out. Those guys have been in the studio working on their long-awaited new album, and the teaser is pretty badass. I would love to see this new album hit the street this year. Times of Grace, an amazing rock band. It's not really as metalcore as Killswitch Engage. Adam D has said in a previous interview that the new Times of Grace album would be slightly different and not as heavy as the first record. So we'll see. Hardcore band Trash Talk has decided to indefinitely shelve their new EP. Was supposed to arrive this week, but they felt with the timing of the George Floyd murder and the Black Lives Matter movement, they felt like their record was a time to celebrate and they didn't want to take away from the movement. And so they have decided to shelve their record to a later date, as yet undetermined. One of the good guys in all of music is Ben Murray of Light This City and Creator Destructor Records. He also works at Bandcamp. He has a brand new solo black metal project that's out now. You definitely want to check it out. It is called No Chemistry, and his album is streaming right now at Bandcamp. 2 singles at Ghost Cult premiered this week. Seattle progressive metal band Dremora premiered their single Guilt via Ghost Cult Mag, and Age of Woe, the German and Swedish band, has produced their single Gospel of Lies. You can check both those out at Ghost Cult. In our segment called Who Rules It Streaming, we run down who is awesome at streaming and cover songs during this quarantine. Once again, Charlie Benante of Anthrax has reteamed with his crew, Frankie Bello on bass, John Denai on guitar, and others to cover Iron Maiden classic Transylvania. Charlie continues to win. We all win when Charlie jams covers with his friends. Thank you, Charlie. Fever 333 held their Long Live the Innocent streaming concert to benefit Black Lives Matter and the Minneapolis Bail Fund. Great job by those activists and artists. We love you guys. Thank you so much for what you do. Appreciate you. Phil Demmel and his wife Marta from Bleeding Through covered Journey's Don't Stop Believing from their home, piano and guitar cover, filmed by Phil's mom, which was adorable. Obviously, the massively popular pop rock song, it was a huge hit with everybody, and it was a really cool cover. You can check that out at the link below. Enslaved has announced their Cinematic Summer virtual tour, which is going to feature 3 performances from the band. They did their hugely popular streaming performance, full band stream, in April, and now they're going to do 3 concerts, partnering with 3 major European metal festivals: our beloved Roadburn, Beyond the Gates in Norway, and Summer Breeze from Germany. Pretty awesome. New Enslaved music coming soon, new album coming this fall, Utgard, on Nuclear Blast Records. Go Enslaved. And finally, Static Tension. The Ohio rockers released their cover of Burden in My Hand by Soundgarden. A lot of Soundgarden love lately. We featured Soundgarden in one of our series on YouTube, War Stories with Keefe. That's my show. A lot of memories and feelings flying around, and a lot of Soundgarden covers lately, so good stuff there. And now for New Music Friday. All the records coming out on Friday, June the 5th in the heavy music world. 16 is releasing their brand new album, Dream Squasher. Blood Aus Nord is releasing 2 vinyl re-releases from Spinefarm Records, Memoria Vetusta 2, Dialogue with the Stars, and The Work Which Transforms God. Exhumed and Gruesome are doing their Twisted Horror split release on Relapse Records. Prongs classic Beg to Differ album, their first major label release, is finally seeing a vinyl reissue for the first time. It came out in 1990, so the album is 30 years old this year. Beg to Differ, a seminal crossover album between New York hardcore and metal. The Ghost Inside will finally release their self-titled comeback album on Epitaph Records. This is their first record since their terrible, near-fatal bus accident. And then finally, The Sword is releasing their 2 live albums and collections. It's going to be pretty awesome to have a ton of new Sword material, covers, live performances, outtakes, B-sides, all kinds of stuff. And now it's time for the mailbag, a look at what we're listening to, reading, and checking out as we try to fight the boredom that is crushing us from this quarantine and coronavirus pandemic and beyond. Smash by Ian Underwood is the story of SoCal punk and Bay Area punk featuring Green Day, The Offspring, Bad Religion, NoFX, and many, many others. The book is an awesome detailed look at the origin of those scenes and the bands that went on to superstardom in the 90s and beyond. Pretty incredible, great book to read if you're a punk fan. I do recommend. Cool thing we've been thumbing through this week from the mailbag is our Legacy of the Beast graphic novel collection of all the Iron Maiden comic books, co-produced by Heavy Metal Magazine. If you ever wanted to see Eddie the Ed come to life and totally ass stomp out everybody, this is the book for you. Gorgeously written and illustrated. Got an incredible custom front cover as well as a back cover. Pretty badass stuff. And finally, keeping with the Iron Maiden theme, for our vinyl pick of the week, we have our 7-inch single of Wasted Years, hand-drawn cover by Derek Riggs, of course, the architect of most of the great Iron Maiden covers. And, of course, Wasted Years is a banger and an all-time classic in metal. Thanks for watching another edition of the Weekly Ritual. I'm Keefe. If you like videos like this on our YouTube, please like and subscribe, and follow us on all Ghost Cult social medias and at ghostcultmag.com. It's tough out there. It's a tough time in the world. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Thanks.